Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll work on this interior scene. We'll set up the lighting and basic materials step by step. You'll find the scene file in the description below, with almost all of the objects included, so you can practice and recreate the setup yourself. My name is Irena, and I create tutorials on realistic interiors and AI-enhanced workflows. Let's move to the main part. Open the material editor. I've already created a simple gray base material. Now go to Render Setup, enable MTL Override, and drag this material into the None slot. Next, switch to Single Map and choose Corona Sky. Drag it into the material editor as an instance, so we can edit it directly. Change the sky model to allow color adjustments. Start the interactive render. You'll notice that the gray override material also applies to the window glass. That's why no light is coming through. Let's fix that. In Render Setup, enable Preserve Glass so the windows stay transparent. Now let's adjust the colors in Corona Sky. Set the horizon color to full desaturation. Keep the zenith color slightly bluish. This gives more realistic shadows. In tone mapping, I'll lower the intensity of ACES OT to make the light softer. Next, let's add the sun. Reduce its intensity and adjust the angle so it lights the interior nicely. Increase the sun size for softer shadows. Switch to direct input and fine-tune the height for a better direction of light. Now we can add color to our base material, just a subtle tint. I'll lower the sun intensity a bit more. I want to add a bit more light to the wall and ceiling, so I'll duplicate the sun using Shift plus drag. Disable the first one for a moment to see how the new light behaves. Move it lower and increase its size. I'm going for that soft diffused look. Let's tone down the intensity a little. Now we have more balanced light on the wall and ceiling, exactly what I wanted. Finally, I'll add Filmic in tone mapping and increase rich shadows for more contrast and depth. The lighting is ready. Now we can move on to the materials. I've already set up the base colors for all objects. This is the next step after lighting. I really recommend not skipping this stage. It's excellent training for your eyes. It helps you see the subtle differences in tones and how colors work together in composition. Let's start with the floor. Here's a little story. I couldn't find a ready shader that matched the reference, so I decided to create my own. I found this image of the floor and cleaned it up using Nano Banana to remove unwanted objects. Then I refined it a bit in Photoshop. Simple but effective for what I needed here. Next, I uploaded the image to an online texture generator to create normal and displacement maps. These are the results. You can find the download link in the description below. Now let's move on to the materials setup. I'll start by adding the diffuse map to the base floor color. Between them, I'll place a color correction node to adjust the gamma and overall tone. Set up gamma and color in color correction. In tone mapping, I'll slightly increase the highlight compression to control the bright areas. I've already adjusted all reflections during the base material stage. The roughness value for this material is 0.42. I'll rotate the main texture by 90 degrees, then duplicate it with Shift and drag. Select the normal map and connect it to the Corona normal slot. Make sure to enable Add Gamma to Input and flip green for correct shading. Now for the displacement map, let's plug it in and adjust the intensity to get just the right amount of depth. Next, I'll pick the ceiling material using the Pick from Object tool. Right-click and select Multi-Texture. Then I load wood plank maps from the folder. I'll connect it through a color correction node and fine-tune the gamma and color balance. Let's move on to reflections. I'll connect multi-texture to color correction and desaturate it. Add an output node and connect it to the roughness slot. Here, I'll slightly adjust the curve to get a softer reflection. Now the desk material. It uses the same wood texture as the ceiling, but with all the planks merged into one map. I'll set up color. I'll copy the reflection maps from the ceiling material and plug them into the new one. And this material is done. Next is the cabinet, also wood, but darker and more reflective. This is my diffuse map. I'll rotate the color map 90 degrees. Now roughness map. This is how the map looks. I'll brighten it slightly in the curve to make the reflection softer. In the material itself, you can control how much this map influences the reflection. I've set it to around 90%, but feel free to adjust it for your scene. Let's create the curtain material. Set translucency. I'll start with this texture for the color. Since I edited the curtain mesh, I'll use a triplanar node to keep the mapping clean. Set it to around 3000. Then, I'll connect it through color correction to fine-tune the tone. For translucency, I'll add another map to the translucency fraction, also with a triplanar. I'll tweak the curve slightly and balance the map intensity to get that soft, realistic fabric look. Next, I'll plug in a map for the translucency color and run it through color correction to adjust the overall look. I'll increase saturation in translucency color and in the base color. Now let's move to the chair materials. We'll start with the wood. I'll use a more pronounced wood texture and connect it to the base color through color correction so I can adjust the tone right away. For reflections, I'll add a desaturated color correction and an output node. Then tweak the curve for the right balance. Finally, I'll connect that same color correction to the bump slot to bring out the fine surface details. Now for the leather material. I'll plug in a texture with color correction. But here I need a triplanar node because the texture doesn't project correctly on the mesh. I'll set the scale to 1000 and adjust the color slightly. Next, let's work on the reflections. I'll add another map through triplanar and brighten it with the curve to make the leather look more matte and natural. Now for the painting. This one's simple. Just apply the texture, adjust saturation and the gamma, and that's it. For the metal frame, I'll add a roughness map to make the reflections less uniform with Triplanar 200. Customize curves. And don't forget to control the map's influence amount, otherwise texture will be strongly visible. Next, the wooden beams outside. I'll keep this one very simple, just a texture with color correction to balance the tone. Now let's move to the lamp. For the lower part, I'll add a noise map with Triplanar. Connect to the bump. Reduce the scale in the noise to 10 for finer details. For the upper part, I'll reuse the same map I used for the curtain. Add a triplanar with scale 1000 and a color correction to make it brighter. And lastly, the book. Here, I'll simply apply the texture to the base color and make it a bit darker for contrast. And our scene is ready. Which part was most useful for you? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the next tutorials.